Now, with the second verse, again, it starts with the protagonist, the person telling the story, saying he sees death around the corner. He mentions about not being able to trust his colleagues. But what's interesting now, it says, smoking too much weed got me paranoid and stressed. That makes me think. In the first verse, it says because of the stress of the paranoia, he's run out of his cannabis, and as a result of that, he's more paranoid. Yet in this statement, he's saying that that smoking too much weed got me paranoid. And the question is, does cannabis, does it cause more paranoia or risk of psychosis, or does it protect against it? But what we do know from research is it depends on the type of cannabis you use. For example, in the UK, there's a strong version of cannabis called skunk. With skunk, there's a particular chemical in the skunk called delta-9 tetrahydrocannabinol, or THC. Now, in skunk, the proportion of THC is very high, whereas the proportion of cannabidiol is very, very low. So basically, we know that when people use other forms of cannabis, such as cannabis resin or the herb, the proportion of THC is low and the proportion of cannabidiol is high. So you could argue that it depends on the type of cannabis the protagonist is using. Hence, if he uses skunk, he becomes more paranoid and there's more risk of psychosis. Yet, if he uses cannabidiol, which actually has antipsychotic properties and helps with anxiety, then the paranoia is less. So this is a very interesting way of exploring lyrics. Okay? Now, there's another thing about him walking around and being very, very sensitive to stares and what people are saying. So one way of basically looking at this is alluding to the paranoia. But having said that, some would say, is this actually psychosis? Or is what we're seeing here evidence of post-traumatic stress disorder? So if we agree that he lives in a particular area, an urban area, which there's a lot of let's say there's a lot of gang activity, then we could therefore argue that he's more likely to have seen violent crime. Now we know from both ICD-10 criteria and DSM-5 criteria, if he's witnessed traumatic events, then he might have some symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder. Hence, his response to the cold stares might be a sense of hypervigilance. What he describes as stress might be a sense of some of the symptoms he has. And he's looking out of the window, seeing things happening. Might be him reliving experiences involving traumatic events, such as nearly being killed, as being evidence of reliving those particular memories. So we have to consider something such as post-traumatic stress disorder. Thank you.